Welcome to Pastor's Chat today. We're looking in Revelation chapter 4 and especially verses 5 and 6 today, and we'll be talking about the coming storm of judgment. Listen to these verses. And from the throne proceeded lightnings, thunderings, and voices, 7 lamps of fire burning before the throne, which are the 7 spirits of God. And before the throne was a sea of glass like crystal. And in the midst of the throne and around the throne were 4 living creatures full of eyes in front and in back. Now we've been looking at the throne that John saw in heaven as a focus of all attention. God is on the throne in heaven. And around the throne is a rainbow, and also 24 elders along with the 4 living creatures. And now from the throne, so we have on the throne, around the throne, and now from the throne there proceeds thunders and lightnings and voices. Now these are indication of a coming storm and reminder of God's awesome power. Usually before we experience a thunderstorm in the summer, we can see the lightning in the distance and we hear the sound of thunder getting closer and closer. And the more the lightning and the louder the thundering, the more intense we believe the storm is going to be. In the Old Testament, it's also interesting that when the judgment of God, for instance, the plague of hail, was about to fall upon Egypt, it was preceded with this sight and sound. And Moses stretched out his rod toward heaven, and the Lord sent thunder and hail, and fire darted to the earth. And the Lord rained hail on the land of Egypt, so that there was hail and fire mingled with the hail, so very heavy that there was none like it in all the land of Egypt, since it became a nation. Exodus chapter 9, 23 and 24. Later, when God came down on Mount Sinai to give Moses the law of God, he was accompanied with lightnings and thunder. It came to pass on the 3rd day in the morning that there were thunderings and lightnings and a thick cloud on the mountains. And the sound of the trumpet was very loud, so that all the people who were in the camp trembled. And Moses brought the people out of the camp to meet with God, and they stood at the foot of the mountain. Now Mount Sinai was completely in smoke, because the Lord descended upon it in fire. Its smoke ascended like the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mountain quaked exceedingly. Exodus 19. And then in Exodus chapter 20, it says, and when the people saw this, they were filled with awe and fear. And the people witnessed the thunderings, the lightning flashes, the sound of the trumpet, and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they trembled and stood afar. And they said to Moses, you speak with us, and we will hear, but don't let God speak with us, lest we die. The very presence of God, the thundering and the lightning, brought fear and awe into their hearts. And my friend, as we hear these storm signals in Revelation, lightnings and thunderings coming from his throne, we see it's repeated over and over again. In Revelation 8:5, we read, then the angel took the censer, filled it with fire from the altar, and threw it to the earth. And there were noises and thunderings and lightnings and an earthquake. Then again in Revelation 9:11-19, then the temple of God was opened in heaven, and the ark of his covenant was seen in his temple, and there were lightnings and noises and thunderings and earthquake and great hail. And that's when the 7th angel sounded his trumpet. And then in Revelation 16:17-18, when the 7th angel poured out his bowl of wrath into the air, a loud voice came out of the temple of heaven from the throne saying, it is done. And there were noises and thunderings and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake, such a mighty and great earthquake as it had not occurred since men were on the earth. My friend, the Bible tells us in Psalm chapter 9, verses 7-8, that God has prepared his throne for judgment, but the Lord shall endure forever. He has prepared his throne for judgment. He shall judge the world in righteousness, and he shall administer judgment for the peoples in uprightness. My friend, most Christians and even most believers and non-believers in the world today don't want to think of God as a God of judgment. We like to look at the rainbow around the throne and ignore the lightning and the thundering that's coming out of the throne. My friend, God is a God of grace, but his grace reigns through righteousness Romans 5:21, and this was made clear where God manifests his love for sinners on the cross and his wrath against sin. Oh, my friend, the question must be asked today, are you prepared for the coming storm of judgment? Well, God bless, and you have a wonderful day.